Welcome everybody to today's webinar. The importance of electric buses is steadily increasing, and with it, the number of electric buses in your fleet. There are a few things to consider so that you can make the best possible use of these vehicles. One important factor is efficient charge management, and you will learn a lot about it today. My name is Martin Fricke. I work for Init's marketing department and will be your host. Our panelist is Niklas Kress, Sales Manager Public Transport at Car Media Lab GmbH. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with us. If you have any questions, please use the Ask the Staff a Question function in your control panel and write your questions into the text field. My colleague Gisela Krieger and I will note them down and ask our expert after his presentation. Niklas, it's your turn. Tell us how to achieve cost savings through efficient charge management strategies for electric bus fleets. Please.
Thank you, Martin, for the nice introduction. I'm delighted that so many of you have come and taken the time to participate in today's webinar. Briefly about me, my name is Niklas Kress and I've been working for Car Media Lab as a sales manager since 2022. And in this webinar, I will introduce you to our charging management for electric buses, MOBILEcharge, and present our newest features. So what is it about today? To give you a better understanding of the background of MOBILEcharge, I would like to give you a brief insight into Car Media Lab. Who are we, what are we doing, and since when are we doing? Challenges in the introduction of electric buses and how we can solve them with MOBILEcharge. Then I would like to show you our system in a live system with a customer and present our latest features. Afterwards, I want to show you references to demonstrate our success in several projects. I would like to round off with a case study, and this will be followed by a Q&A session afterwards. To gain a better understanding of your needs, we have prepared a short survey for you. This will allow us to prioritize your needs in the rest of this presentation. In example, whether you are more interested in monitoring smaller or larger electric bus fleets.
And here are the results. 27% say it's most likely that they'll operate 1 to 20 e-buses until the end of 2025. 7% say it's 21 to 50. 47%, and this is great, say that it's more than 50. And 20% expect to have none by the end of 2025. Thank you for being part of our poll. And I'll give back to Niklas.
That is very interesting. I think I prepared the right slides for your demands. But let's jump in about us. Who are we? We were founded in 2003 by Heiko Bauer and have been part of the Init Group since 2004. In 2008, we carried out the first projects in the automotive industry, where we were responsible for communication between electric vehicles and charging stations. That's why we are named Car Media Lab, not Bus Media Lab. But that's just a side fact. We then gradually moved into public transport and worked intensively on our solutions for the electrification of bus fleets. We launched MOBILEcharge in 2020 and now have around 35 projects with our intelligent charging software. Our history bar makes it clear that we have been gathering experiences from many projects and research work for over 20 years and have incorporated this into our MOBILEcharge. Here you can see how we are connected worldwide. As subsidiary of Init, we have a very strong connection all over the world. Here in green, you can see the different locations of Init World. As Car Media Lab, we have our headquarters in Brussels, that's nearby Karlsruhe in Germany, the orange-colored markings. But we also have colleagues in the US, we have a project team in Berlin, and also we have another development team in Portugal. So we are well networked. I hope this gives you a short overview about Car Media Lab and what we are doing. But now we want to target some challenges and how we can solve them with MOBILEcharge. So the first challenge is the energy limitation in the depot or on the route. This may be also the case for you. You're always tied to the grid power of the grid operator. With our charge management, you get more gentle charging processes. The available energy can be utilized more efficiently. In this way, we can achieve a reduction in peak loads through peak shaving. Later in this presentation, I'll show you a slide that shows what it can look like and what we can achieve with that. So the next challenge is the maintenance and control of the charging infrastructure. Via the back end, as it is the case with us, you can create an overview about your own charging infrastructure. In this way, you can also control the charging stations. In example, you can adjust the charging processes. But even if an error regarding the charging process occurs, you will receive a notification directly in the system or by mail. Our system works as a web application, so you can also access to the system from mobile phone, from your tablet, so completely remote. And there you can give different commands. So you can do a reset, a hard soft reset, for example, or you can unlock the charging station as required. This is very useful if you have some charging stations en route. This not only saves you time, but also costs for employees. It is not longer absolutely necessary to send an employee to the charging station to do a reset. You can do that completely remote. The next challenge is the battery charging cycle. A major challenge for all electric vehicles is protecting the battery and the battery life cycle. With our charging management, charging processes can be carried out more gently instead of buses arriving at the depot and immediately charging up the maximum power. A longer charging time is often possible, for example, overnight charging. And MOBILEcharge can control these charging processes so that the buses have enough energy for the next tour, and preconditioning can also be carried out at the charging station. This not only saves energy, but also ensures a sustainable charging processes for the battery. And last but not least, the integration of third-party system is often a challenge. Often there are already existing systems, such as depot management or ITCS systems. Connections to existing systems can be established via standard interfaces, in example, the VDV interfaces, but I will go more in detail later in another slide. In this way, the system can also receive the existing real-time data, and this is very good for our charging processes that we can create. Thanks to many years of experiences, we have already encountered many challenges. I would like to show you the process of charge management visualized, that you can get a better understanding about this. So this is how uncontrolled charging looks like, and this is how controlled charging looks like. So let's assume the buses arrive at the depot at 6 o'clock in the evening, so that it would be this time here, and have to leave, for example, at 7 o'clock in the morning. So at this time here. For the next journey. Then there is a large time window for recharging. So this is the potential charging period. Without charge management, so in this case, the buses arrive at the depot, is plugged in and charges until it's full. So this is the orange box here. So in this time window, all the buses arrive in the depot, charges at the same time. So we have a very high peak, and that means a lot of costs. But the optimum charging options are not utilized. And with MOBILEcharge, the buses arrive, for example, at 6 in the evening, and then at this time, the prices for the energy are very high. So our charge management understood that there is a big time window for the buses, and we can use other time windows for charging. So that means that the potential charging period maybe starts at, let's say, 1 o'clock in the night, and has another time window instead of charging at 6 in the evening the day before. So we can use this time window optimally. And the best way to show you what this can look like is to use an example from one of our customers. So here you can see without MOBILEcharge is the peak. So the orange box that you've seen the slide before at this time. So here's the time and here is the power. So the peak is at 280 kilowatts at this time. And with MOBILEcharge, we have the time windows, and we can use gentle charging processes to reduce the peak power and lower the peak to 120 kilowatts, so more than the half. So this is the first challenge that we face. That is what MOBILEcharge do, basically. So this is in a nutshell. And so we can lower the costs efficiently. But how is our system connected to all the other parties? This is very interesting. I tried to give you a quick overview about the IT landscape, that you have a better understanding about this. So our charge management is in the middle, and we connect through OCPP 1.6 or 2.0.1 to the charging infrastructure. And the charging infrastructure is then connecting to the bus to the ISO 15118. So we have access to the charging station, and the charging station connects with a bus. And through the charging station, we can trigger the VDV 261. That is the preconditioning. That is something I mentioned earlier, this presentation, For those of you who are not aware of the VDV standards, this means preconditioning. So to preheat or pre-cool a bus at the charging stations. So let's say a bus has to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning, and through the VDV 261, we can trigger the preconditioning inside the bus so that the bus will start, let's say, 20 to 30 minutes before the next route or the next trip to preheat the bus, and uses the energy from the grid through the charging stations instead of using the energy that is charged so far, so that the bus can go on the next route with 100%, for example. That is very useful and very common, and we can do that with our charge management. And what we also can do is to connect to pre-systems through the VDV 463. So to ITCS systems or depot management systems. For us as MOBILEcharge, as charge management, is very necessary. So the baseline, the base information that we need is the arrival and departure time and the charging stations for the buses. We can get this information automatically from depot management system, for example. But if you don't have a depot management system, we can implement that and into our system manually through a CSV file import. So you can also put this data inside our charge management manually if you don't have a pre-system. And MOBILEcharge can also connect to the existing supply systems. This means the grid connection and energy storage if available, or alternative sources such as photovoltaic systems are possible. But I would say I've spoken enough about this. I want to show you our system. So give me a sec. So this is our dashboard. This is MOBILEcharge. This is the dashboard of a customer of us. And I want to show you how our application looks like. So this is the dashboard of our web application. It's available in English and in German. You can select that here. For this customer, it's available in English and German. But it will be available in French, Spanish, and Portuguese with the next update. For all language talented among us is something there. If needed, we would love to present our system in your language as well. And here you can see the energy consumption of today, of the last days, for the upcoming days. So we can set prognosis out of historical data and when we know how much charging processes will be done in the next days. Also, you can see how many charging processes have been done today, how many are currently charging, how many buses charged on time, and how many buses charged delayed. We also have the possibility to show you how much energy was used, weekly, current load, peak load, and energy consumption. That is over here. But you get more information about this, more detailed information in the report section that I will show you later. But just that you have an overview about your consumption. Also, you have a real-time overview about your infrastructure. So that means at the moment, 12 charging points are available, 4 charging points are charging, 0 are occupied, and 0 are not ready. So as I mentioned at the slides with the challenges, you get a notification if there is an error. So you always know everything about your charging processes at the moment. If a bus arrives too late, this is indicated during the critical charging processes. Accordingly, the charging power is adjusted. If a bus has less time, it's charged faster. So you can select that. I mean, like I have all depots here, but you also can select several depots if needed. So that is also a possibility to see if you have more depots, the data from the different depots here. But I stay with all depots because then I have more information in this case. So this is our charging plan. Here you have several informations that are very interesting. So you can also, again, search for a depot. Here you can see the charging ID, so the charging point that is connected to the bus. And these are the time windows that I was talking before, these orange boxes that I was showing you. So at the moment, there are 3 buses charging. For example, the vehicle BD 1001 has at the moment 74% of SOC, and it wants to have 100% as a target SOC. The preconditioning is not activated. The active schedule is just in time, and the next drive is 12:10. So here are some informations about your charging plan. You can also scale it up if you want to, if you have a bigger depot and more buses that are charging at the same time. In this case, 1 hour is perfectly, I would say. And here you have the option, as I said, to implement these information. So the arrival and departure times and the charging stations where the buses charge manually into our system if you don't have a pre-system like the DMS. So we can carry out all different scenarios with customers if they have existing systems or not. But let's jump into the charging station monitor. Here you have an overview about the charging station. So the cake diagram that I've shown you before on our dashboard looks like this in detail. So here you again can see the depot, the ID, so the charging station, the name and the connector. So if you have more than one connector, for example, this can also be shown here, and the vehicle name that is connected to. You get some more information, for example, the cable temperature, the power, voltage, current, the last contact. So you can also individually customize your view, and you see here how much energy is charged so far, how much energy will charge in the future, and how much time you have left. And in this section, I hope you can see that. Normally it's gray because I have a read-only account. What does that mean? You have different user roles in our system. For example, I have the read-only account, that is good. Otherwise, I could do stupid stuff with the system for our customer, and I don't want to do that. But if you have an admin account to the system, you can give different commands to the charging station. So you have the possibility to do a hard or soft reset. That is mostly the solving of the problems. The same is with my laptop, for example. If I have a problem, I just restart the laptop, for example. And the same is what you can do remotely with our system to the charging station. Also, you can unlock the charging station. That is very useful for charging stations en route. Even if this is pantograph or normal charging stations, you can unlock them if you want to. And yes, this is everything about the charging station monitor, very useful. And now you can see this one is done. As I said, it's a live demo. I'm very happy that at the moment they are charging buses. Otherwise, I would have shown you some slides, screenshots of our system. But I think to see a live demo is more impressive. So the same for the buses as for the charging stations, what I've shown you. So these are all the buses that are connected to the system. And this list is mostly used as a whitelist. So only the buses that are connected and implemented into our system can charge. This is very useful, especially for en route charging, so that not a private vehicle can connect to our charging stations. And here, oops, now I've got logged out. Sorry for that. Here I can see the report section. This is very useful because here you have the possibility to select the charging stations, the vehicles if you want to, and select the dates. And there you get the consumption that was used however you want to. Especially if you have different kind of charging stations or different buses, you can compare that to see how much energy was used for them. That is very useful for us and for the customer as well. And you can download this as a CSV file or PDF. Yeah, this was a very quick overview or run through to our system. As you maybe can hear, I would love to talk about our system the whole day because there is so much more to say about it, but that would go beyond the scope of this webinar, and I hope I was able to give you a quick overview about our system. So I would say jump back into our presentation. Here are the slides that should be familiar to you from our system and how it can look like. And I want to show you our new features. So MOBILEcharge is constantly evolving to meet the demands of the market. I would like to introduce our latest features to you. We have developed support for multiple operators as part of a new project. With this function, the customer has the option of granting several operators specific access to the system and has the control over the entire system by themselves. In this context, it is possible to grant the respective operator access to various buses, charging stations, depots, or charging groups. The customer has the option of assigning different tariffs and interfaces to various operators, which then apply exclusively to the respective operator. And the big advantage is that you have authorization visibility throughout the application, but the operators can only see their buses, their charging strategies, etc. But let me illustrate this once again. Maybe it's easier to understand this way. So let's assume we have an authority with two operators, so two subcontractors as shown here, operator 1 and operator 2. But operator 1 has another tariff than operator 2. So this is something we can do with our system. Also interfaces, for example, operator 2 has what I can do the preconditioning, but operator 1 can't do the preconditioning. So you can also give access to different interfaces. But what happens if you have more than one depot with different operators? We can summarize all this information in one system, and you can give the access to the different depots, to the different operators, to various operators. So they only see their part and not the part of the whole system, but you can have access and control the whole system. Also here, what we can do is not just in one city, but in more cities, and not only the cities. We can do this in the whole country. So to summarize, multi-operator support can be used as a useful tool when there are multiple operators or subcontractors who want to monitor and supervise their fleet in one charge management system. I hope this has been helpful in understanding the benefits of this feature. It's very useful if you have a big fleet. So furthermore, the substation monitor gives us a full control over the amount of energy you can consume. The energy sources, whether it is energy from alternative sources such as photovoltaic, for example, or conventional sources as from the grid. So these energy flows are automatically controlled by MOBILEcharge. And you also have the option of customizing the energy distribution flexible according to your wishes. And we have another very useful feature that is the energy manager. This is very required in the past, in the last year especially. So what we can do, we have some options here with the energy manager. So tariff management, that means simple addition and customization of tariff informations, also integration of energy prices, so-called price spotting is possible with our system. Customization of charging targets. State of charge can be set flexible. So you can charge up to 100% or you can charge up to 70%, however you like. Everything is possible with our system. Limiting energy consumption. Setting energy limits per depot or vehicle is also possible. And also special access control. Access to certain functions and simple operations for authorized users. As I said, I only have the read-only account for the system, but there is also Energy Manager who has more access inside the consumption of the energy, for example. And last but not least, we have the possibility to store specific charging profiles for individual needs when creating efficient charging profiles. So this is very useful and required in the past, our Energy Manager. But we also have a very special feature, the Power Boost button. So in the case of an unexpected event, such as traffic jams, demos, city festivals, football matches, we have the option of prioritizing certain buses and supplying them with sufficient energy so that they get out faster than planned. In the background, MOBILEcharge has a prioritization list of buses that need to get out the next. With this tool, you have the option of prioritizing a bus. So let's say bus number 1 on position 1 has the biggest need of energy and has to go out the next. But we want to have bus on position 5, let's say, because of his size, for example. With the Power Boost button, you can push the charging process to this vehicle so that it can leave as quickly as possible. But this does not affect the charging destinations of the previous buses. So this is very useful if you want to react very quickly and manually to your charging stations and charging processes. I hope you like our latest features. We are constantly working on new features for you. Okay, let's jump to the next point, the references. As mentioned earlier, we have around 35 projects worldwide, including Germany, in Belgium, Spain, Netherlands, Northern Europe, the US, and also in Africa. And I would like to show you a few of these projects. So, as mentioned earlier, we have this big project where we use the multi-operator support. So this project is in Israel, and We have a bus fleet of around 1,400 electric buses spread across the whole country and deliver our solution as a cloud version. But an on-premise solution is also possible. So as we are implementing in Brussels right now, here a bus fleet of 1,000 electric buses and 500 charging points are monitored with our system. We also have some reference from the Netherlands. Here we have, not Netherlands, excuse me, from Norway, with 112 electric buses and 60 charging stations as a cloud solution. One of our earliest projects was in the Netherlands, now the Netherlands, with over 300 electric buses and 170 charging stations with an on-premise installation. In Germany, we have a project list in Leipzig, among others, where we also carrying out peak shaving with 40 charging stations through MOBILEcharge, thereby reducing costs. And Barcelona is one of our latest projects where we are monitoring the city's entire electric bus fleet with our MOBILEcharge. But as I said, this is just a quick list about our customers. Maybe here can see one or other operator who we are working with our system. With showing you some of our references, we want to express that we have gained a lot of experiences in implementing charge management, even if it's a bigger project or a smaller one. So as mentioned earlier, in the IT landscape, we connect to the charging station. Accordingly, it is important for you as a customer that our software connects securely with the hardware. Here you can see a selection of industry standard charging infrastructure manufacturers with whom we have already established OCPP connectivity. If you have any questions about this, I would be happy to discuss the connection to your charging stations with you afterwards. So coming back to the survey, I would like to show you another result from one of our projects. So while interesting for you to see how our system works and what options we have to monitor your bus fleet and save costs, figures from real projects are usually more convincing. And here's an example what we have achieved in a bigger project in Northern Europe through peak shaving. So the customer had a total peak load of 5 megawatts before peak shaving, and our system enabled us to reduce this to 1.3 megawatts. This is a reduction in peak load of 74%, and the customer and we are very satisfied with this result. But as I said, it's a bigger project with 102 electric buses with 52 chargers. So that's me, and I think I've talked enough. I hope I've been able to give you a better overview of our work at Media Lab and our possibilities for charging electric buses. And I thank you for your attention, and I would be very happy to answer all your questions now or maybe in a follow-up in the future. Thank you very much.
My turn. Thank you, Niklas. We received a couple of questions from our participants. Thank you, everybody.
Good.
First of all, can preconditioning be carried out for every bus?
Yes, if they accept the OCPP standards, that's not a problem. So we connect to the charging station and they connect to the ISO 15118. So that should be possible, yes.
Okay, there are different kinds of installation. Which is faster, an on-premise or a cloud installation?
So we can do that to your demands. So we can install on-premise or cloud. It's up to you. But cloud is faster because we don't have to set up everything in your environment and we can just install it in our cloud. That is based in Germany, by the way.
Fine.
Yeah.
And when does it pay off? Is there a certain bus fleet size you need?
I wouldn't say so. So the first slide or the first ROE from a customer that I've shown you with the 6 electric buses is also very nice. So what we often do with customers, we start in the earlier status of the electrification, so with a smaller fleet, but then we can scale it up. So we can see it's very it pays off in a big project, but also with smaller projects. So let's say up from 5 vehicles, yeah.
That's fine. And the last question for the moment, is it possible to customize the dashboard? It was a customer dashboard, as you just told us.
Yes, definitely. Yes, you can customize as you wish. We can help you with that, and you have several options as you're required to.
Okay, another question. Can you also manage opportunity charging in a similar way?
Yes, we can do that. So that is also possible. That is also what we do. So we have different kind of strategies. So is it cost saving, also en route charging? So ad hoc charging is also possible. So this is not a problem for us as well. Yeah.
And another question, I read it just the way it is. I hope you understand it. Do you think there is future, and in brackets from cost side, of daytime opportunity charging? And again in brackets, today most operators would opt from depot charging.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, yes. We see there's a lot of potential in the future for that.
Yeah, that's it. These were all the questions we received.
Thanks for these questions.
So, thank you, Niklas, for the insightful presentation, and Gisela for being co-host. And thank you all for joining today's webinar. If you find you have further questions about charge management, please contact Niklas. You see his contact data on the slide. He will gladly answer all your questions. Thank you. All the best to you, and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.